All right, today we are going to pull back the curtain on how complex technology actually gets sold and put to work in the real world. And here's a spoiler, it's not about the flashiest new gadget. It's really about a disciplined way of thinking to solve very, very real business problems. For any business leader out there looking at all the technology options today, it can feel like you're lost in a massive, overwhelming jungle. There are thousands of different tools, a million different paths you could take, and it is so easy to get completely lost wondering which one is right for us. And that is where our hero comes in, the solution architect. The best way to think of them is as an expert guide, a kind of matchmaker. But they're not just matching technology with other technology. No, they are experts at connecting a specific business problem to the exact right tech solution to get a real, measurable result. So here's our game plan. We're going to break down how they think. We'll start with the big challenge they're up against, then walk through their 3-step process for finding that perfect fit. Then we'll see it all in action with some real-world examples. And finally, we'll reveal the secret sauce that really makes this whole thing work. Okay, so the core problem is pretty easy to say, but really hard to solve. You're a business, you're staring at this giant ocean of competing technologies. How in the world do you find the one that perfectly fits what you need, what you can afford, and where you're trying to go? Answering that question is the whole reason a solution architect even has a job. Now, this is maybe the most important part of the whole thing. The first step in an architect's process, it has nothing to do with technology at all. It's all about diagnosis. A great architect, well, they listen, they ask questions, they dig deep to really get what's driving the business, what their actual pain points are, and what they're trying to accomplish with their money. And check this out, because this shows a huge shift in how businesses think about money. See, the old way, CapEx, was all about spending a massive pile of cash up front to buy all your servers and gear. But today, businesses want flexibility. They want to pay as they go, treating their IT more like a utility bill. That's an operational expense, or OpEx. Understanding this shift is absolutely critical for an architect. Okay, so once you've diagnosed the problem, then it's time to open up the toolbox. A really skilled architect has this deep, almost encyclopedic knowledge of all the solutions they have to offer, and they know exactly which tool is built for which job. And this table just perfectly illustrates that matching process. It's like a cheat sheet. If a customer says, hey, I want that flexible, pay-as-you-go OpEx model we talked about, the architect knows, boom, the answer is HPE GreenLake. If they say, we're in the finance world, our data absolutely cannot go down ever, the architect immediately points to HPE Nimble Storage. See, it's a direct line from the need straight to the solution. But here is the most crucial step of all. Just recommending a product isn't nearly enough. A great architect has to translate the tech speak into the language of business, which is all about money, efficiency, and growth. They have to answer the so what question. And just look at how this translation works. HPE Nimble Storage isn't just AI-driven storage. No, its business value is that it reduces your operational costs. See the difference? HPE GreenLake isn't just a product. Its value is giving you the flexibility of the cloud while keeping your sensitive data safe on site, which is a huge deal for things like compliance. It's all about connecting the tech to a tangible business outcome. All right, so now that we've got the 3-step framework down, diagnose the need, know the solution, connect to value, let's see this thing in action. We're going to look at how this exact process plays out in 2 very, very different industries. First up, healthcare. Now, this is an industry with incredibly high stakes, right? We're talking about a field where technology can literally be a matter of life and death. Think about it for a second. Medical data for a patient has to be available, always. There are no excuses. Patient information has to be kept unbelievably secure to comply with laws like HIPAA. And with all the new data from scans and records, storage has got to be super efficient. These aren't just suggestions, they're absolute non-negotiable demands. So, knowing all that, the architect selects a solution that is tailor-made for this world. HPE SimpliVity with InfoSight is designed for exactly this scenario, giving them a rock-solid, always-on foundation to make sure that critical medical data is always there when a doctor needs it. Okay, now let's do a complete 180 and pivot to a totally different world, retail. The challenges here? They're all about speed, massive scale, and wild seasonal swings. You know how it is. A retailer might be pretty quiet in February, but then come the holidays, they face this absolute tidal wave of transactions. They need their IT to scale up in an instant for a big sale, and then, just as importantly, scale right back down so they're not wasting money. And their network, both in the store and online, has to be perfect. So here, the architect proposes a completely different combo. They bring in HPE Aruba to handle that high-performance, high-traffic networking, and they pair it with HPE GreenLake to give them that on-demand, pay-as-you-go scaling. It's the perfect match for the wild up and down demands of the retail world. So after seeing all this in action, what really is the architect's secret? Well, it's not some kind of dark art or magic trick. It's actually a really disciplined approach that just boils down to 3 core principles. First, you always use a structured framework. You don't just guess. Second, and this is the big one, you always talk about business value. You have to forget the technical jargon and focus on how this thing is going to save money, make things more efficient, or help them grow. And third, you tailor every single recommendation. Healthcare is not retail. Their problems are different, so their solutions have to be different. This quote really just nails it. The goal isn't to sell a box of hardware. The goal is to provide a solution that the customer clearly, truly understands will make their business better. That's it. That's how you build trust, and that's how you deliver real value. And that really leaves us with one final thought. This mindset, this way of thinking, it's not just for people who sell technology. It's a really powerful way to solve problems in pretty much any field. So take a look around your own world. What's a challenge you see that could be solved, not by just grabbing a tool, but by really stopping and thinking like an architect?